And Tal Shinik is going to be talking about how her near-death experiences, not one experiences, actually taught her how to stay alive. And near-death experiences are very rare. One near-death experience is mind-blowing. So looking forward to hearing about Tal's. This is her second speech, and the name of the speech is 3 Precautions to Keep You Safe from Near-Death Experiences. So, Tal Shinik.
I believe there are some universally bad ideas. Bad ideas that your mom and dad warned you about since you were a kid. Don't run with scissors, right? Look both ways before you cross the street. Don't fall asleep with gum in your mouth. If my cousin had followed her parents' instructions, she would not have had to have a very serious buzz cut before unpictured it. The point here is we need to take precautions. And precautions are important because they have the potential to save your life. What we're not always sure of is which precautions to take. Some precautions are less obvious than others, and there are so many to choose from. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about 3 precautions that you should take to keep yourself safe. And what qualifies me to give you this kind of advice? Nothing. Nothing except a series of near-death experiences that happened to me. These experiences have taught me some valuable lessons about how to effectively stay alive, and I would like to share them with you. Number 1, take off your clothes. Let me tell you a story about the day I learned the value of taking off my clothes. When I was 7 years old, my parents sent me to sleepaway camp. One of the highlights of that summer was a water hike. It was a hike through the woods that ended with a swim in the lake. And what was exciting for me about this hike was that I thought I would catch some turtles. I wasn't sure if turtles lived in lakes, but I was determined to find them. On the day of the hike, I dressed as instructed, long sleeves, long jeans, hiking boots. And this was a precaution that we were taking so as not to get ticks and scrapes and poison ivy. When we finally got to the lake, I was so excited to look for turtles that I jumped in with my boots and all my clothing. Well, the water was much deeper than I expected. And before I had a chance to take a breath, I sank down to the bottom of the lake. My clothes were weighing me down like an anchor, and I was literally drowning. Luckily, a very handsome lifeguard came to rescue me. The lesson here is this. Being fully dressed underwater in gear meant to protect you from poison ivy and scrapes and ticks is gear that's going to drown you. So, lesson learned, take off your clothes when you go swimming. Number 2, avoid the BQE. Fast forward 12 years, I'm on my way to a nightclub in New York City. I'm driving on a very unkept, narrow, congested highway where cars are always speeding. For those of you not familiar with the horror show that is the New York City highway system, I was on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. Suddenly, I see a tailpipe in the middle of the road. I immediately know I'm in serious danger. I have 2 choices: veer into another lane and risk colliding into another car, or follow the course of my lane and hope that my gas tank doesn't puncture and explode. Before I could make up my mind, I slammed head into that tailpipe, and sure enough, the gas tank ripped wide open, and I lost all my gas on the highway. I didn't go clubbing that night, but I was really happy that there wasn't a giant explosion that I was a part of. And so the takeaway here is stay off the BQE if you're in New York. And the third and last precaution is this: eat chewable vitamins. This is serious. 2 years ago, I went to visit a holistic doctor when I was living in Portland, Oregon. Living under a sunless sheet of clouds for 10 months made me feel kind of sluggish and achy. So blood tests revealed I needed a bunch of vitamins: vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A, you name it, I needed that vitamin. And vitamins come in all different shapes and sizes. The largest of all are the calcium pills. They were so gigantic that I almost choked on them on 2 separate occasions. You know what I never choked on? Chewable vitamins. And the lesson here is, folks, you're only as healthy as the vitamins that you successfully swallow. Let's recap. Bad ideas lead to impending death or serious injury. We want to keep ourselves safe, so we take precautions. 3 precautions were suggested tonight, and they were the conclusion of this speaker's near-death experiences. They are: take off your clothes, avoid the BQE, and eat chewable vitamins. Madam Toastmaster.